What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live here on a Thursday. We got 5 games for picks against the spread today. Things have really changed in picks against the spread. We'll take a look at that in a second. We're also going to discuss the tank race. You know, it's the topic of the month of March for us here at Blazers Uprise, so we're going to update you guys on that. Good news, after last night, the Blazers have moved into 6th place in the tank race, so we'll discuss what that means and some potential draft options if the Blazers end up with like the 6th or 7th pick, and that's what our stream is going to be for today. It's going to be a little bit shorter than normal, but we're just kind of waiting things out until the end of the season where we really see where we're going to end up, Eric, where we see where the Pelicans end up, we see if they play into the playoffs or not. So we're just kind of waiting for kind of mid-April at this point. Last stream of March. It's been an interesting month, to say the least. But yeah, man. How's your day going?
Oh, pretty good. Just here at work and trying to squeeze the stream in.
Yep, at the shop. So yeah, a little bit shorter stream today. But let's just hop into this travesty, okay? And I say it's a travesty because chat has tied me in picks against the spread. I'm upset. I chat, good job. It took, probably 100 of you just to tie me, but good job, chat. Good effort there. 6 and 5, or no, 6 and 5 was Jackson. I'll update that right now because that's gonna bother me. Jackson went. Chat, you guys went 7 and 3 on Monday. Jackson went 6 and 5, so Jackson gained some ground as well. I gotta update that. Jackson, his last double down was a push. That's why he has 2 W's for his double down. He won both his double downs and still almost went below 500, which is actually kind of impressive. Eric, you had a pretty... you were 5 and 5. Zach and Krish had pretty good days down there at 7 and 3. Yeah, let me just update this because... There we go. Yep. Jackson went 6-5. Chat, you guys went 7 and 3 to tie me. So you gained 4 games. I was 4 games up. We have 5 games today, which means Jackson could take the lead if he has a good day. Chat, me and you are going to be battling it out till the end. There's only 3, maybe 4 episodes left of picks against the spread. We'll see if we pick games on the final day of the season when there's 15 games. That's on a Sunday, so there might be still some room for Connor or Eric to make a late run. We're going to try and do picks for the final Sunday of the season. Eric, any thoughts on the standings?
Trevin's saying his record is wrong.
Dude, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard without you giving me the records to do them in the graphic. I was struggling with that. So
Zach was 4 and 6, and Trevin was 7 and 3.
Okay,
I
messed up the last.
I messed up the last. I think Trevin.
Everything else is fine.
Yeah,
but yeah, because Trevin did pass Zach with his 7 and 3 day. Yeah, so he definitely went 7 and 3. So I will update that, and hopefully everybody will be happy. There you go.
This is actually the opposite of last year or 2 years ago when Chat was winning like the whole time, and then I passed him right at the end.
This time Chat's trying to bring it back.
Yeah.
You won year 1. Did you? Who won year 1? Didn't I win year 1?
Yeah, I won last year. Yes.
Who won year 1? Because year 1, it was me, you, and Chat. Year 2, it was me, you, Chat, and then Reese, Zach, Trevin. And now this year we added Krish, and Connor replaced Reese.
Jackson.
And we added Jackson. Yeah, so we might add a couple more people next year. Gabe said he wants to do it next year, so maybe we'll add Gabe. We'll see, but it's definitely gotten interesting here, chat. You guys are really bringing it back here. You guys got a legitimate chance to win this thing, but you got to put your minds together and come up with the right picks over the next 4 episodes of Picks Against the Spread. Anyway, all that being said, let's jump into the first game. Detroit is hosting Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is a 9.5-point road favorite.
The 76ers list no injuries for tonight. I think they have a pretty standard starting lineup as well. The Pistons are without Jeremy Grant and Hamidou Diallo, who have both been ruled out for the year.
All right, there's the chat poll. So Connor and Zach sent you their pick. Zach's in here, though, so I'll let him make his pick in chat. What did Connor go with?
Connor picked the Pistons. Ben Simmons doesn't play for either of these teams, so...
Zach goes Sixers.
I'm going to take the 76ers as well.
The Pistons have been surprisingly not the worst team in the league lately, it feels like, given the fact that they're missing Jeremy Grant. But Jeremy Grant doesn't really help them win basketball games, so... You know... I'm going to go with the Sixers.
The Pistons have been good lately, and they don't have Jeremy Grant, which makes it better. But I'm going to pick the other team.
I don't know, man. Coming off that 3-7 day, I'm rattled. I'm no longer... I was feeling safe going into last... And I could have stretched it out, if Chet struggled a little bit. But no, I now I'm tied with Chet. Now I'm rattled. So we'll see if I can hold them off and perform under pressure. I might just go against the opposite of what I think, which means I go with what I think. Sizers for Jackson.
All right.
Pistons for Krish with some emojis, as always. Where do you go? You went with the Sixers?
Yes.
Okay, and Zach went with the Sixers. Jackson Sixers.
Trev Sixers.
Sixers. All right, cool. And then Chat ends up going with the Sixers as well. 65% of the pool. Connor and Krish, Pistons, everybody else. Sixers. Game number 2, you got Milwaukee heading into Brooklyn. Brooklyn's actually a 2-point home favorite.
So Cavaliers, or no, not Cavaliers. Bucks are without DeAndre Bembry. Giannis Antetokounmpo looks like he's going to give it a go. The Nets are without Fuzzy Simpletons, Ben Simmons, there you go, and Joe Harris.
Kyrie playing at home. This is a good game.
Yeah, it is.
Zach goes Bucks. Who would Connor go with?
Connor went Bucks as well. As am I.
As am I. As is Trevin. No way this is going to be a clean sweep on actually a good matchup in a solid spread. Actually, I already know this is coming. Waiting on Jackson. Chat right now, 50-50. 18 votes, it's 50-50, 9 apiece for both. Hello, Eric's mom.
Hi, Mom.
Just waiting on Jackson. And Krish. I put in Krish's pick because I assumed he was going to go. Okay, yeah, there. It's Bucks, of course. The one time he doesn't want an island is the one time I predict he wants one. I'm going to end the chat.
Jackson?
Yeah, what is Jackson up to, man? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to end the... Oh, I ended it on 50-50. Crap. We should have your mom break the tie. What do you think, Eric?
I don't want her influencing this tie between you and Chet.
True. But it was a 50-50 tie with Nets and Bucks. So let me just run it back. I will literally run it for 10 seconds. That's the first time I've done that. I don't even... Yeah, tie... Dude, I can't spell. Bucks for Jackson. Chat, you got 10 seconds to vote in the tiebreaker poll. After 10 seconds, whichever team I see is leading is the tiebreaker. All right, 10. We're going to count down. Next game we got is Cleveland and Atlanta. All right, 62% Nets for Chat. Eric, they got an island. They got an island. I think they wanted the island. I think that was the tiebreaker there. Opposite me. Yeah, see, dude, they're collectively strategizing and we're seeing it play out. They've gotten to the point where they've evolved into being able to strategize together. Good job, chat. You guys got maybe your first island of the season. I don't remember you guys ever having one, so everybody's Bucks except chat. We'll see who wins out. Game number 3, as I said, Atlanta's hosting Cleveland. Atlanta's actually a 6-point home favorite.
The Cavaliers are actually, both teams are on a back-to-back, and the Cavs are without Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Colin Sexton, Dean Wade, and Rajon Rondo. The Hawks are without John Collins, Lou Williams, and Jalen Johnson.
Connor, I'm not sure. It might be the first time all season. Like, obviously we had one where it was like just me and Eric and chat. And back when we only used to do like 15 votes. Because we had to have people vote in chat. Now we got the polls, obviously. I'm going to go with the Hawks in this one.
I'm Hawks as well.
Oh, Connor's actually here. He sent you his picks, but Connor's actually here. What's up, Connor?
Hello, Connor. I had the pleasure of meeting Connor last night. And Chris as well. 2 upstanding young gentlemen. That wasn't a joke. Jeez.
Oh, man. Cleveland for Jackson. That's funny.
Oh, my mom said she had already voted, so what a...
Oh. I thought she had just joined, so I didn't know she had voted. Cavs for Zach. Yeah, I saw 52%, and then I hit end poll right when it switched to 50, and I forgot who was 52%. Connor says, damn, Tori roasting me without even trying. Why am I even here?
If you weren't here, you would have like felt something catching strays while you're sitting at work.
You said I shot a stray AU the other day when I complimented you.
Yeah.
I called you a real basketball player. And you said, why am I catching strays?
I don't know. I felt like it was a joke, but yeah.
I see your point. Okay. Atlanta for Chris.
If Connor's sticking with his picks, he picked the Hawks.
Okay. And what did you go with, Eric?
Hawks.
I don't think you said that, but I always feel like I miss. Whenever it's like your pick isn't there, I always feel like I missed it. But I don't think you said it. Taylor, the Blazers Uprise agent Packer says, when are you cowards going to give the official Blazers Uprise agent an individual vote? Once you land us a sponsorship.
Trevin went Hawks, by the way.
All right. Trevin Hawks chat is 56% Hawks. So Zach and Jackson. That's an interesting combination compared to everybody else. They're Cavs, everybody else Hawks. Game 4 or 5, you got Chicago hosting the Los Angeles Clippers with Paul George back. The Bulls are 2-point home favorites.
Yep. And the Bulls are without Lonzo Ball. Clippers are without Kawhi Leonard and Norman Powell. Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Brandon Boston, all questionable.
There's the chat poll. What? No, I just feel like you and Jackson haven't been like alone together on picks, maybe at all season. That's why I said that, bro. What are you on about?
Zach and Connor are both Clippers.
All right, Zach, Connor, Clippers. I'm gonna go.
Zach, I just read that.
You just saw that? What? I know you're kidding, bro. It would be bad if you weren't kidding. Trevin's Bulls. Connor says he's rolling with the picks he sent you. Cool. Clippers easily for Krish. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go look at these teams' last 5 games.
Well, Paul George is back now, so he's only played 1 game.
Well, I meant the Bulls, actually, because I don't know how the Bulls have been playing. I mean, I'm gonna go with the Bulls.
I'm gonna go Clippers because screw the Bulls.
Okay, screw the Bulls, says Eric. Jackson says... I'm not going to read that. He says Bulls as well. And chat is Clippers, so some disagreement with me in chat. Hopefully the Bulls come through for me. Me, Trev, and Jackson going Bulls. Everybody else going Clippers. Final game. You got Utah hosting the Lakers, Eric. And let me check to make sure this spread hasn't updated. I did this after it was announced that AD was returning tonight, but I feel like the spread's a
He's not
high.
returning tonight.
Oh, I thought he was returning tonight. Oh, no, he's returning against the Pelicans. Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the spread is probably accurate then, because I was looking at this like, huh? But
yeah, because Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Kendrick Nunn all out for the Lakers.
Yep, and that's why Utah is a 13.5-point favorite. What are the injuries for Utah?
Utah has Hassan Whiteside, Udoka Azubuike, and Trent Forrest out.
Not Whiteside.
Yeah. Connor may want to change his pick now.
Yeah, I'm going Jazz.
Jackson is going with the Has.
Dude, Jackson can't spell today.
Today.
Especially today. Jazz for Trevin. Lakers for Christian. I'm gonna start calling Christian.
Why?
To mess with him. What are you going with?
Man, 13.5 is a lot, but I'm gonna take it.
You're not gonna go with your Los Angeles Lakers?
Nope.
Connor says, bleep it, I'm staying Lakers. And it didn't hold that comment for review because he's a mod.
Wait, Zach, you're changing your pick?
Zach says Jazz. Cool. Chat, you guys don't want to take the lead and go with the Lakers? Okay. Looks like chat's 56% of the vote for the Jazz. So Connor and Krish going Lakers. We got some interesting combinations here. All right. So I'll just run through the picks one more time. And now it's time for Double Down. So what's chat's Double Down?
Chat's Double Down is the Los Angeles Clippers.
Cool. Clippers for chat. Good luck. Just kidding. Hope you guys lose.
My Double Down is the Atlanta Hawks.
Hawks for Eric. That's what you did last time, and it worked out for you. Yep. Don't even have to change the logo. Sixers for Trevin.
And Jackson.
I need to get like a silent clicking mouse just for this segment.
Detroit Double Down for Krish.
Yeah, I was going to say Detroit Double Down. I knew it was going to be Krish.
Zach
Clippers
is the
for
Clippers.
Zach. All right. I haven't even
begun
to think.
Connor's Double Down, according to his thing he sent me, was the Clippers, if he's sticking to that.
Alright. I am gonna go with the I'm gonna go with the Hawks. Let's get it, Eric.
Alright.
All right, so me, Eric, Hawks, Zach, Connor, Chat, Clippers, Trevin and Jackson, Sixers, and then Krish with the Pistons. That is picks against the spread.
Good luck, y'all.
Except for Chat and,
Good luck,
Jackson.
everyone.
Good luck, Eric. Good luck, Connor. Good luck, Krish. And good luck, Zach and Trevin. All right, take a thought sheet time. So this is the updated tanking sheet. Portland moved up a spot. I put in their games behind relative to Portland. So Sacramento is currently a half game behind in the lottery standings, meaning they're a half game better. They have one more win than the Blazers right now, equal amount of losses. And then as you see, the Spurs are 4 games behind us with how many games left? 6 to go for both teams. 6 games left for both teams. The Spurs. I'm not worried about falling below the Spurs, Eric.
Not one bit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear cut and dry. The Blazers are going to be at worst 7. The Kings' next game is against the Rockets tomorrow. The Blazers' next game is against the Spurs tomorrow. So, obviously, if the Blazers lose that game, they clinch not falling to 8, because they'd be 5 games better with 5 left.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just formality, though. They're not going to fall to 8. What else kind of jumps out at you in terms of the tank race? Normally I just dominate this segment, so I want to give you a chance to tell me what stands out to you.
We talked about this a little bit last night, but interesting race for 10, 11, 12 that influences possibly where our second pick is, if we get it, between the Wizards, Pelicans, and Knicks. I'm kind of watching that, and then just us and the Kings, basically, I think is it, and then the play-in spot.
Yep. I assume we're rooting for the Lakers to beat the Pelicans tomorrow.
Yes.
That's probably the play.
And I think the Lakers are actually going to try since Anthony Davis is coming back.
Yeah, so they should have LeBron, AD, Westbrook, their mediocre big 3. Mm-hmm. If they win that game, so here's what we're looking at tomorrow. We have a bunch of games that matter tomorrow. Obviously, the Lakers play today. The Lakers are probably going to lose to the Jazz, so they're going to be 2 games back. Like the Spurs, Lakers, and Pelicans are vying for play-in positioning, so if I say the Lakers are 2 games back, they're 2 games out of the play-in, basically. Mm-hmm. So the Spurs, the Lakers are going to be 2 games back, but the Lakers, then if they beat the Pelicans and the Spurs beat us, then it's a situation where the Pelicans only have a 1-game lead on 11th. So that could be crucial tomorrow. I'll let you answer that if you need to. But if the Pelicans beat the Lakers tomorrow, the Pelicans clinch a play-in spot, in my mind. It's not a official thing, but the Pelicans would be 3 games up on the Lakers with 5 left to play. And the Lakers don't have an easy schedule the rest of the way. So tomorrow's Pelicans-Lakers game means everything if you think the Pelicans could still miss the play-in. Okay, you're going to need the Lakers to beat the Pelicans, and you're also going to need the Blazers to lose to the Spurs, which obviously helps the Blazers. So it's an important game for the Blazers to lose, not only for their own sake, but to give San Antonio an outside shot at catching the Pelicans. Here's the thing, the Blazers play the Spurs 2 games in a row. The next 2 games are against the Spurs. So that's 2 wins for the Spurs if the Blazers play things right.
Mm-hmm.
The Pelicans, after playing the Lakers, I forget who they play after that. Let me pull it up. After playing the Lakers, the Pelicans then play the Clippers on Sunday, April 3rd. So that's a game at the Clippers. Both these games are in LA. I could see the Pelicans losing both those games and ending up in a tie with the Spurs. The Lakers, after playing Utah and then New Orleans, then play Denver on the 3rd. But with AD back, maybe they're able to get that win. That game is at home for them. So you could be looking at a situation if everything breaks right, which is unlikely, but if everything breaks right, you could have the Spurs, the Lakers, and the Pelicans tied after Sunday. The Spurs would have to beat Portland twice, the Lakers would have to beat New Orleans, and then win one of the Denver-Utah games, and New Orleans would have to obviously lose to the Lakers and then lose to the Clippers.
Yeah, I don't think they're beating the Jazz tonight without LeBron or AD, but
yeah, I don't count on that.
The Nuggets have been, it's weird, they've been winning, but they've kind of like messed with teams for a while, and it's been close, and then they pull it out at the end.
They almost blew, a 30-point lead against the Pacers?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they beat Charlotte by 4. They beat OKC by 6. That's their last 3 games. They haven't been playing super well.
So you hope they sneak out that game. So are you back to wanting the Pelicans to miss the play-in completely, even if that gives them better chances of moving up?
I mean, I don't. I think so. Like, yeah. I just want it to be close. Right?
Yeah.
I just want it to be close. Like, I want the Lakers to beat the Pelicans, and I just want it to be a storyline over the last 10 days of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know which I'd prefer, so I just want it to be, like, close either way. Because, I mean, the Pelicans pick has a better chance of moving into the top 4 than I think they would have. Okay, actually, let me phrase it this way. What are the chances you think the Pelicans play into the playoffs if they get a 9 or a 10 seed? Obviously, I know home court advantage matters, but let's say the Pelicans get the 9 seed, which is where they are right now. What's the chances you think they play their way into the playoffs?
If it's against the Lakers and Clippers, I give them like a 40% chance, maybe 35, 40%. If it's against the Spurs first and then one of the other 2 teams, I would say it's probably closer to about 50%.
I think both those numbers are a little high. I feel like Lakers, if the Lakers are healthy, I feel like that's a 50-50 game, even if it's in New Orleans. And then if they go up against the Clippers on the road with them having Paul George back, I feel like the Clippers would have the advantage there. So I would honestly say 20 to 25% if they face both those teams, and then if they face the Spurs, like a 35% chance. So if you're looking at that compared to top 4 percentages, you know, if it's the Lakers that end up getting the 10 seed, the Pelicans getting the 9 seed, and I think they have like a 20 to 25% chance, then it's more likely we lose their pick based on those odds if they end up getting all the way up to 8th, but that would involve them being out of the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
And that pick would end up being better, right? So it's like still a pretty much equal chance of losing their pick, but if we keep it, it's 8 instead of 11 or 12, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it like I would want them to miss the plan.
Yeah, the best case scenario for them is 8th. I mean, for us, for them to fall to 8th and have that 26.3% chance to move up.
Yeah.
And then hope that no one 9 through 14 moves up, and then we get the 8th pick and have our pick move up. So that's the absolute best we can do, I think, is 1 and 8 right now.
Yeah. I mean, on draft lottery night, if a team like from 12 or 11 moves up, it's bad because it's one of the top 4 spots taken away from the Blazers, but it's also good because it's one of the top 4 spots taken away from the Pelicans. So it's...
Well, it bumps our pick down too or it potentially bumps both of our picks down 1.
Yeah, but it also makes it more likely we keep the pick. So, like, honestly, if I see a team jump to the top 4 that's like 12th or 13 in lottery standings, it's like I probably will feel indifferent because, yeah, it bumps our picks down 1, but it makes it more likely we keep the Pelicans pick. So, and I think we need that Pelicans pick. Now, obviously, if we're going to trade for Jeremy Grant, then I don't even really care to have that Pelicans pick. But I'm not assuming that that's going to be the... I don't think that's just a surefire thing that's going to happen. So, I'm rooting for the Pelicans to miss the play-in. I've decided it, just kind of thinking about it with this conversation. I'm rooting for the Pelicans to miss the play-in. I think it's more likely we keep their pick that way, but I don't think they're likely to play their way into the playoffs. They just can't defend at a high enough level, and I think if you have AD and LeBron locked in on a one-and-done play-in game, and, I mean... those guys get some start calls, I just feel like it's going to be tough for the Pelicans to beat the Lakers even if they're playing at home, but then they have to go on the road and play the Timberwolves or the Clippers. I feel like that's going to be a pretty tall task. I mean, we're talking about a Pelicans team. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit... Maybe it's too much recency bias because I just saw them last night.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that team did not impress me last night.
Yeah, probably a little bit of that. It's also tough to get up for a game against the Blazers right now. Whereas on Friday. I think it'll be a little bit better indication of where they're at against the Lakers. Um, yeah, but it's certainly fun.
Yeah.
So Alex Wolfast, would you rather have 3 or both 7 and 11? I would rather have 3 in this draft because it guarantees us a power forward.
Yep. And I messed something up on this sheet, unfortunately. Let me fix it. It's not something that's super relevant, but
I've gone back and forth a few times on it. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I've gone back and forth a few times. Like, I could see 7-11 being more valuable, but I just think the top 3 is so strong that you have to, if you have a chance to get one of them, you have to take that.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a position where the number one glaring hole / off-season need for the Blazers is a starting power forward. And if we get that with our pick in the draft, instead of having to give up the Pelicans pick or other assets to do so, I just feel like it frees up so many more things for us to balance out the roster and build it the right way, versus if we stayed at like 6 and got a small forward or something, and then we still need to find a way to get a power forward, and we probably, overpay for Jeremy Grant or whatever, and that kind of stuff. So I'm in favor of whatever option gets us the best possible chance of getting a starting caliber power forward without giving up additional assets.
Yep. So would you trade 6 and 11 up for 3?
I'm kind of leaning back towards that, yeah.
Okay. Because wasn't the answer no like a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago?
I mean, like I said, I flip back and forth, but
no,
yeah.
I know, I do too. I'm just trying to keep up, because that's the thing is my opinions change, and
I mean, some of that has to do with Sharp too. Like, if he works out well for a lot of teams and is rising up draft boards and stuff, and we could get him at 6, and we still have 11 to get someone else. It's.
I mean, that's the thing with the 6th pick is if Sharp and AJ Griffin measure well, I'm more comfortable staying at 6. Mm-hmm. If both those guys measure where it's like, oh, they're going to be undersized at the 3, then I would want to trade 6 and 11 up for 3 even more. I think in the end, I would still trade 6 and 11 up for 3 no matter what, but it makes it easier to just kind of sit there at 6 or even potentially 7 if AJ Griffin and Shaden Sharp measure well. If we end up falling a spot in the lottery from 6 to 7, I'm just hoping that Keegan Murray gets taken at 5 or 6. And I feel like Indiana and Sacramento would... I mean, both those teams could easily move into the top 4, so who knows who's drafting there, but I feel like Indiana and Sacramento would be like the type of teams to draft a Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
Maybe even Detroit if they're moving off Jeremy Grant, if they end up falling to 5. You make sense for OKC too. That's the thing. A lot of these teams don't really have anybody entrenched as a power forward. So, because Shane Sharp's like the guy I've kind of become enamored with as of late. That's kind of, and there's always a player like that for me. So, if we're sitting there at 6 or 7, I'm kind of hoping he falls, assuming that he measures well.
Jackson's asking a CBA question. Could we use our TPE to acquire a contract like a Bertans and then flip him and Bledsoe together to get to a bigger contract? No. Well, technically no. We'd have to wait 60 days before we could combine whatever player we got with another player. So I guess if you did it right after the off season, but then you'd not have that option available until like late July, early August or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's tough to get a team to agree to that ahead of the draft or whatever we're using to attach, because we'd have to attach lots of assets to get a team to take Bledsoe and Bertans. But
it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's if you recently trade for a player, you can't aggregate or combine his salary with other players' salaries in a follow-up trade.
Yeah.
You can trade them individually, which is what we did with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You just can't combine salaries in order to match what you're bringing in. So some people think it's like, oh, if you recently trade for a player, you can't trade him out with another player in a trade, but that's not the case. You just can't use his salary plus somebody else's salary to match something. So it's like if you wanted to trade for a Siakam, you couldn't, trade for a Bertans with a TPE, then you'd have to add his salary to Bledsoe's in order to match Siakam. So you can do that. You could, if the other team had cap space, you could technically trade them both for somebody who Bledsoe matches because you don't need to combine the salaries to match that back. So
when it was Trevin, I forgot who he did this once with me and once with someone else. But he did a really smart thing. Because you can still trade, like if we got Bertans, we could trade him by himself, right?
Yeah.
So what he did was he had someone, I want to say it was like DeLon Wright or someone, that he really wanted as a backup guard or something. And he had a TPE that was just a little bit less than was able to get DeLon Wright for. And then he used the TPE to get someone else that another team didn't want. But then you have, say, like a $7 million contract, and that matches a $9 million contract, whereas the TPE was only like $7 million or whatever. So we could do something like that where we bring in a guy like Jeremy Grant who makes like $20 million, and then retrade him for someone making like 25 or 24, I guess. Would be right. No, 25, yeah. So we could do that to kind of skirt around the TPE thing, but not combine it with another contract.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could, because players don't report till training camp until like mid-September. What is the day usually? Like mid to late September? Isn't it like the last week of September?
Something like that. I don't know if the timeline will be different or back to normal. Yeah. I think normally it's like a month, right? So middle of September, yeah.
Yeah, so I could see a team, if they really wanted the trade, I could see a team waiting that 60 days that you need to wait to combine player salary together. Like if you made that trade happen right at the start of July, it couldn't, say you use the TPE to acquire salary and wanted to attach it to Bledsoe. If you did that right at the start of July, then the follow-up trade with Bledsoe plus that salary couldn't happen until the start of September. But that's a situation where it's like the team, they're not going to be in training camp. Players aren't going to be with their teams that entire time. So I could see it, two teams agreeing to wait that 60 days because it's not going to really change anything. So it is a creative option that maybe would be doable, and that's the thing that I want the front office to explore all possible avenues and be as creative as possible. So, if something like that, you want to trade for a Siakam type of player and he's available, obviously it'd be contingent upon him being available, so don't sit there in chat saying, oh, he's not going to get traded. Like, it's just a hypothetical example, okay? But say you wanted to trade for Siakam and didn't want to give up Josh Hart, who we'd pretty much have to give up at this point. You could do something like that. Now, the only thing it would change is you would probably include draft picks in that deal, so those players wouldn't get to play in Summer League. So that's kind of the only thing that'd be the holdup there.
Yep. Well, I guess we know if we have players that sit out Summer League.
Yeah. See, in the off-season, I feel like they should just... I don't know. Because teams could just wait till September. I feel like... I don't know. I'm getting too deep into thinking about, like, how the CBA should be different. Or certain rules should be different, but... It just, like, a situation like that, two teams could do, but it's just, like, it screws over prospects, which isn't right. Like, they should let prospects play with the team they're going to. In Summer League.
Yeah. And also, like, I think Bertans is, I know he's just using him as an example, but if we could find, like, like the biggest expiring contract that fits into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who. I haven't really looked at that, but yeah, the biggest expiring would be best. I mean, what would stop teams from doing two separate trades where it's like Bledsoe plus the contract for Siakam, right? And that trade is on hold. And then like Portland trades picks for cash, and it's like one trade, but they trade the picks separately so they could play with Toronto in Summer League.
Um,
Which would kind of be risky if Toronto pulled a fast one.
yeah, well, I think, well, there's that aspect of it, but I think it would be seen as skirting the rules, and you would risk the NBA vetoing the trade.
Can they do that even if you're following the rules?
Well, I mean, it happened with, I mean, this might not be an apples to apples comparison, but that was what changed the rules about trading a coach with the Boston Clippers thing, because they had agreed to do like a separate trade with players that was more leaning towards favorable for Boston, and then they were going to do a separate trade with Doc Rivers signing with them or whatever. So I think the NBA would kind of look at it like that, even though it's not the same thing, and then be like, I understand what you guys are trying to do, but no.
I mean, yeah, that would be less bad because basically you're just separating it into two separate trades so that the prospects could play in Summer League.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason. It's not advantageous to either team. It's just advantageous to the prospects. I guess it'd be advantageous to the team getting the prospects, but it'd be more fair for those guys. So that's the thing. It's like if you have reported trades, like you should be able to put in a trade with the league office, like to be official at a certain time frame in the future, but put it in with the league office, and the league office will put it through at that time. And since you put it in as pending with the league office, prospects should be allowed, to play in Summer League with their new team, because that trade's going to happen. There's no reason why they can't. That should be a rule in the next CBA, in my opinion. And that way, it's like you can't trade whatever you get in the pending trade until that trade is official. But it would, you could work the rule where it would allow the prospects to play in Summer League.
Yeah.
In a way.
I mean, we saw that with like both of the Lakers trades, with the AD one and the Westbrook one, both, it was like well over a month, I think, before the trade was official, and there was all kinds of draft picks and other teams involved and stuff, so.
Yeah, so we've seen it in the past. I don't know. I mean,
but yeah,
what's the next CBA up? Because we're gonna have a lot of fun covering talks about and different rule changes and whatnot that nobody else will care about.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is if you just like went to the NBA and said that this was the trade, but like Toronto really wants to play their guys or whatever team it was in the Summer League. Can we do it that way? But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I just think there needs to be a rule for that. Which I don't know how many people have ever thought about that aspect of things, and I don't think that's relevant enough because, I don't know, there hasn't been enough situations like that, but it would just suck for young guys like that to get screwed out playing some Summer League because of, a bigger trade that's pending because of a certain rule, but like could be put through in September. So, anyway, we'll take a couple questions and we'll wrap up the stream. Somebody asked if I think Trendon will play in Summer League. I think he will. I think you're looking at Trendon, Keon, Greg Brown III. Who else do you think? Brandon Williams. We already have a set Summer League team for once.
Yeah, I think
whoever we draft. Summer League's gonna be fun.
I know Summer League's gonna be really fun, especially if we get one of the top 3 picks.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna have a stack.
I think CJ Elleby will end up playing.
I feel like CJ Elleby won't be on the team.
No, I know, but he'll be in our Summer League team, not necessarily on a contract. Like he'll just
see. I hope he's not on our Summer League team because it's like
he's your favorite Summer League player.
Bro, like, he doesn't need to be taking away Summer League minutes from, like, our early second round pick or something. You know what I mean? Like, because we have 4 draft picks. We could have 4 rookies playing in Summer League on top of Brandon Williams, Keon Johnson, Trendon Watford, and Greg Brown. Like, that's 8 guys already that are just, like, not like, we, you know, every year we randomly bring guys in, like Michael Beasley, Kenneth Fareed, Emmanuel Moutier, you know, every year we randomly bring guys in that, yeah,
oh,
you know,
so, would probably be on it.
Yeah, so it's Lozada, yeah, if he's...
Did you say Keon?
Yeah, I said Keon. So that's the thing, we have so many players on the roster that would be playing in Summer League. We wouldn't even have to bring in random, like, we'd bring in a couple end-of-the-bench guys, but, like, our Summer League rotation would be all guys that are a part of the organization. It wouldn't be random, you know, signings like Michael Beasley just for the summer. So I don't want CJ Ellaby taking some of those minutes from those young guys in Summer League, because the dude, I think, has just proven that he's not an NBA player, Eric. Maybe this is what we should end off the stream with. I don't think CJ Ellaby is an NBA player. His shot hasn't improved at all. His defense is okay-ish, but I think if you put him against legitimate starting lineups, I think he would get burnt by elite guards. Like, you know, I think his defense looks a little bit better because he's normally not really playing against or guarding elite players. I don't want CJ Ellaby on the team next year. Flat out simple. Okay, he had a good start to this year when he was playing. He's had a couple good moments, but the dude has gotten ample opportunity and hasn't really done anything with it. He was 1 for 9 last night. He misses way too many layups. Like, the dude is just not an NBA player. I don't want him on the team. I don't see the upside. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I won't be like Blevins level upset if we re-signed him or whatever.
I'd rather have Blevins because at least there's a reason.
But yeah, it's yeah, I see your point. I'd rather just move on from him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blevins better not be on the team next year because we only have one two-way spot, and I hope it's going to be on a undrafted rookie from this class or someone like actually, you know what? Ellaby still qualifies for the two-way. I could see them bringing him back on a two-way spot instead of an actual contract if he didn't get an offer anywhere else.
Yep. Jackson wants to know my thoughts on Mookie Cook. I don't want to talk about players that are committing to other schools over Gonzaga. Okay, I absolutely do.
He just chose Oregon, huh?
Stupid. Will Richardson 2.0, I guess. Play his way out of draft stock at Oregon. God.
What'd you think of Luzada's defense last night?
I wasn't really paying attention to his defense. Honestly,
to me, it felt like he was still kind of moving weird from his knee injury, and so it's kind of hard to judge. But I mean, he's obviously got potential on defense, but it's kind of hard to tell while he's trying to work his way back into playing again.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Ish asked earlier if I think Koloko can develop a three-point shot. I don't know. I mean, I'd be happy if I was a team and he developed some sort of like 10 to 15 foot jumper at this point. So yeah, I don't know if he could develop a three. I mean, certainly his form's not too bad, but right now he's pretty much just free throws in around the basket. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't really project it at this point, but it's certainly possible with his decent improvement in free throw shooting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway,
you're just deleting. I guess Tori will delete it if it has to do with the Ducks.
Yep. Nope. I'm still salty. You guys just reminded me that I'm still salty. I've actually been having a good past few days, and you guys ruined it. All right? All right, Jackson, that's a 5-minute ban. You said go Ducks too much. Anyway, Quack Quack is also a 5-minute ban. Or yeah, that's also a 5-minute ban.
Oh man. What
Who has
about?
more dunks next year between Dame and Ant? That's a good question.
Hmm.
Who do you think?
Uh, I'm gonna say Ant. I think he'll eventually learn to dunk a little more.
If you get like that's the thing, it's totally dependent on like what types of sets they run, you know.
Mm-hmm. Can I say go Beavers?
Yes.
That doesn't offend you, right?
Go ahead. Yeah, I was rude for the Beavers.
We lost all our players, so we're cleaning house.
Yeah.
I think we have 6 defectors.
Dude, this is
Wow.
This chat is looking crazy. Anyway, yeah.
Drummer, we're not trading like the 12th pick and a second-round pick to move up to the top 4. That's not even enough to move up 1 spot, probably, let alone like 8 spots.
We need to do a tankathon sim.
Yeah.
We need to do a tankathon sim. So, after the tournament, do you want to put out a big board article? Just not even like just our big boards and that's it.
Sure.
You know, not even a write-up about prospects, just big boards. Our big boards next to each other would be cool.
Yeah. At some point when you're comfortable with it, we should do like a video too.
A video about...
It's like our draft boards or...
Yeah, we could. I figured we'd talk about like draft boards on stream.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, however...
Those seem to get a lot of like views and stuff.
Yeah, I was planning on doing like a mock draft right after the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do a video, just let me know. We can figure out, you know, exactly what we're doing. I want to do draft profiles. I just think we need to come up with a better format than we did a couple years ago.
Jackson Osterman. Osterman is his last name.
He's he just outed his last name. Oh man, Mac Mall. The last time Gonzaga played the Ducks, they beat them. All right, and that wasn't even that great of a Gonzaga team. I don't know if that's Jackson. Oh, he said don't care plus ratio. Yeah, that's Jackson. Yeah, let's do Tankathon. All right. Let me go back to the Tankathon sheet and let me go to. Let me pull it up here.
I had some very interesting tankathons today.
Did you?
Yeah.
You sat there simming it?
No, I did one sim and it was interesting, and then I decided to hit it again before I turned it off, and it was also interesting.
Huh. Well, hopefully this one's interesting. Portland looking nice there at 6, man. That's cool. Wish we could move up to 5. I don't think we're catching Indiana, though. I saw somebody earlier say they think we're catching Indiana. We're not going to catch Indiana, all right? Just accept 6th, which is a good number in the draft for Portland. Unfortunately, fortunately, it's unlikely that we stay at 6, because at that point, you're 37% chance of moving to the top 4, or you're likely going to fall 1 because one of these teams will move into the top 4. So that's the thing. Once you get up to 5 or 6, even though it says like 5 Indiana, 6 Portland, it's very unlikely that these teams stay at 5 and 6. So let's simulate things and scroll up. See, we didn't have good luck last night. It wasn't terrible. We kept the Pelicans pick, but our pick didn't move up. Both picks moved down 1. You got Chalk here at 11. You got New Orleans pick to Portland. We're keeping that pick more because it's at 11. At 10, you got Washington. At 9, you got the Lakers pick to New Orleans. So far, this would be good news for the Blazers. No team has moved into the top 4, and we kept the Pelicans pick at 8. Oh, well, no, I just jinxed it. Portland moves down 2 spots. You got Detroit down 4.
So
Wow.
the 2 between us.
Yeah, you got Indiana.
Indiana moved up as well.
San Antonio, Sacramento, and OKC in the top 4. You got San Antonio at 4, Sacramento at 3, Indiana at 2, and OKC at 1. So 8 and 11.
See, that would suck if, like, the last day we get like a clutch loss at the end to stay in 6th over the Kings, and then the 7th pick moves up.
Yeah, see, but if we were 7th, the ping pong balls would probably bounce differently,
Right.
you know what I mean? So that's the thing, is people will be like, oh, we should have stayed at 7 because they moved in the top 4, but it's like butterfly effect or whatever it's called. I don't
The
know.
person putting the frozen envelope into the case is slightly mistimed because he put that Blazer logo into the wrong envelope or something.
Yeah, something like that, ping pong balls weighted differently. That would be, I mean, would this be a good draft lottery, Eric? Would you be happy?
Us losing the pick but getting 2?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chet, here we come.
Yeah, sure.
Hoop Intellect just dropped a Chet Holmgren scouting video today, so if you guys want to go watch that, go check it out. But yeah, this would obviously be a pretty good scenario. Just take one of Banchero, Jabari, Chet, and then draft at 11. I'm just trying to... What was your crazy situation? Oh, wow. New Orleans 1, Washington 2. What was your crazy sim?
I am loading it up. It's on my work computer. So one of them was we moved up to 4 and kept 11. But New Orleans Lakers pick moved up to 3. And
Look at what I just rolled right when you started talking about it.
yeah, and Washington moved up to 1.
Huh.
And honestly, I don't think Washington would take Ivy at 1, but I could definitely see New Orleans taking Ivy at 3 over Banchero or whoever's left out of the top 3, leaving us in a very good position where 4th gets one of the top 3 still.
Yeah, which one of the top 3 do you think would be most likely to fall to 4?
Dude, I don't know. I think
I know, that's a tough question.
I think Jabari is the least likely because I think just teams are going to fall in love with him, and the other 2 are. I wouldn't say Banchero's polarizing, but maybe the sweat thing. Some team knocks him down a grade or something, or the defense thing, and then Chet is obviously one of the more polarizing draft picks in a long time.
Yeah.
So I could see someone falling between Chet or Banchero. I just don't know which one is more likely.
I feel like it could be Jabari, though. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but Chet's the best defender out of the 3, Banchero's the best shot creator out of the 3, Jabari's the best shooter out of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So which one falls, that's basically, it depends on what teams want, obviously, and what teams are picking top 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the tank sim.
And then my other thing was, so I was talking about this with other people, but if in that draft, or in that mock, both the Pistons and Oklahoma City fell to 6th and 7th or something.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if, what would it take for you to trade back with OKC? 7 and 15 for 4, is that enough? Or
if OKC was 4, or no? Oh, if we were 4, 7 and 15. I mean, it's enough if Keegan Murray goes 5 or 6, and if Shane Sharp and AJ Griffin measure well. If Shane Sharp truly is 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan, and he's falling to 7, I would trade 4 down for 7 and 15. Mm-hmm. But if it's Keegan Murray, I wouldn't. I think at that point, if you don't have a better option at the table, you just got to take Ivy and figure out a follow-up move that makes sense. You got to make something work, which could be trading Anthony Simons in a sign-in trade, trying to go out and get a star forward.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know people won't like that, but I mean, I don't know. Obviously the play would be to try and trade for a star forward. It's just you're going to have to sign him and then attach him to Bledsoe to match, most likely, if you want to keep Hart.
Mm-hmm.
So a 3-guard rotation of, I think if you have the 4th pick and there isn't a good trade-down option or trade-up option, I think you're just looking at, what you got to try and do is have a 3-guard rotation of Dame and then Ivy or Ant at the starting 2 and then Hart off the bench. And then whichever one of Ivy and Ant you don't keep, you got to turn into an all-star forward.
Yeah. Scenario for you.
What's up?
This is kind of crazy.
Okay.
We get the 4th pick, right?
Yeah.
So I'm actually starting to think 4 is not bad because, like I said, there's plenty of scenarios I think where Ivy will go in the top 3, and there's plenty of scenarios where a team that fell out of the top 4 will want to give us a lot to trade up. And OKC is a good example because they have so many future firsts, right?
Yeah.
So we get the 4th pick. Oklahoma City calls and offers you 15 and their pick next year unprotected.
Ooh.
So we have a shot at Wemby, possibly.
Yeah.
And we still have, a mid-first round pick this year, but we give up a potential star player this year.
I feel I feel like OKC just doesn't give up a chance at Wemby for that. But if they did, I'd be worried that it's like, oh, they're going to turn all their future picks into helpful players, and be the Cleveland Cavs.
Here's what I was
like. I feel like they wouldn't be that as bad,
This is what I was thinking. If they got, say, they were in the top 3, right?
Yeah.
So they got like Banchero or Chet or whatever. And then they also wanted Ivy. So they would have SGA, Ivy, Banchero, Giddey, I guess. So I think they'd be super good in a few years, but I don't think they would be quite good enough for the playoffs next year. So it's a super interesting, I guess, argument. And that pick would be super valuable, like in a trade this summer too.
Unless they're the Cleveland Cavs.
Yeah.
This summer, yes, this summer.
But,
yeah. I mean, it would have to be a situation where it almost be like, oh, if it's not top 6, we get a different,
one of their
or like the choice of a different pick or something, because
if one of their 18 firsts ends up in the top 5, we get it or something.
Yeah.
Or what if it's just like they throw in another like lottery protected first or something because they could throw in as many picks as they wanted to make that happen, I guess.
I mean, that's interesting. I just like at some point you have to cash in on upside, and pushing it back another year with risk is kind of tough for me.
Well, here's the thing: is like because Freezing Cloud says, wouldn't that make this season's tank not worth it? The reason it makes it worth it is we still, like I said, get a first this year. We could probably, I'm guessing, since they were apparently rumored to be willing to give up like SGA, and I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently they were trying really hard to move up to like 1 or something last year. So like if they were willing to do that, you could probably squeeze like Dort and Kenrick Williams and stuff into it too. So maybe you add a couple of rotation players that way. But the thing is, next year we could be as good as we could possibly be without worrying about how that affects our draft position, right? Because we'd still have a different team's pick to look at. I was just looking at, because unfortunately I was thinking of doing the same thing with Detroit, but they owe like a protected pick for several years with OKC, so maybe you could get OKC to get them pick back or something. I don't know, but it doesn't work out quite as good. But would you trade 4 for 6 and Sadiq Bey or something?
Depends on Griffin's and Sharp's measurements.
I could definitely see 4 for 6 and Jeremy Grant. Like that's probably what it would end up being.
God. I mean, if you're gonna,
that's not the worst, but yeah.
See, and honestly, like, at least half the fan base would be like, oh my god, this trade is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
At 4, it's a guard. We don't need a guard. And at 6, we could take a small forward, and we have our power forward. You know, they'd view it as amazing, and I understand why, but Ivy just, like... I could see us just doing that, and then Ivy's a future top 10 player superstar.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like we're sitting there with Jeremy Grant, and then we take like AJ Griffin, and he's like a good starter, but you're talking about giving up a superstar for 2 good starters, and you're gonna lose that trade. Mm-hmm. So I'm bullish on Ivy's upside. At 4, I'm growing more and more comfortable. I love Ant. But at 4, I'm growing more and more comfortable with just taking Ivy and then sign and trading Ant somewhere. Because we still have enough leverage because he's a restricted free agent to get back good value in a Simons trade. So at that point, then you're just looking at, you know, who, like, if Toronto wants to go younger and build towards the future, you know, maybe you get, honestly, OG wouldn't be enough for Ant. But, like, you know, maybe they want to move Fred VanVleet or something. I don't know. I don't see them doing that, but or maybe Gary Trent Jr. isn't part of the future. I don't see that. It's just when you're talking about a guy like Ant who has star potential, I could see teams being willing to move off a good player to get that type of guard. You know, Boston, if things don't work out. You know, we talked about a lot of scenarios last night that none of them are likely, but it's possible, like, if certain scenarios don't work out, like, I could see if the Lakers want to rebuild, but they don't have their picks, like, I could see them, you know, wanting an Anthony Simons if they're going to move Anthony Davis or something.
Yeah. I'm just rolling with the 3-guard lineup in that situation.
You're rolling with Hart at the 3?
Well, I'd probably look at trading Hart, I guess, but yeah.
Well, who you're bringing Ivy off the bench?
Mm-hmm. At least the first year, just
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'd be cool with that too. Like at 4, if you can't find a trade that's like good, I'm okay taking Ivy, and people will be like, "Oh, we don't need another freaking guard," but you got to take the talent there. Mm-hmm. You can't pass up on potential. Like, that's the thing is Portland needed a big man when they drafted Sam Bowie, right? They supposedly didn't need another. They had Clyde, right? They don't need Michael Jordan. Wasn't that the narrative back then? I forget the timing on that because obviously I wasn't born, but
yeah, they already had Clyde Drexler, so they didn't need Michael Jordan. They needed a big man. Yeah.
Yep. So how did that work out? Mm-hmm. You know, so you just got to draft for talent there. So honestly, I'd be more comfortable with Hart at the 3 than Norman Powell, because I feel like a lot of issues, Eric, weren't necessarily because of Norman Powell's height. It's because he didn't buy in and compete on that end. Mm-hmm. And if you're undersized at the 3, you have to make up for it with competitiveness and effort, and he didn't, so it was like doubly bad. I feel like Hart's size is he has a shorter standing reach, so he might even be slightly more undersized than Norman Powell, but he can make up for it with competitiveness, and he's strong, and he's played a lot of forward over his career and supposedly been fine there. So you got to have good team defense. You got to kind of have a system that a defensive system that works, but I feel like you might be able to be good enough defensively, and then offensively that could be freaking insane with that 3-guard lineup.
What I was thinking too is if we draft maybe signed him right away, then there's a good chance he balls out in summer league and increases his value even more, and we'd have, after 30 days after we signed him, we could trade him, and his contract would be like 6 or 7 million. So
God, I feel like we're gonna end up with 4.
Well, see, I still believe someone will take Ivy before 4, so I'm not worried about it at all.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't.
It depends on how the draft goes, I guess.
I mean, honestly, out of the top 3, I feel like Chet would be the most likely to fall to 4. If I had to pick one, I'd say
for you, right?
I mean, yeah, I'd be happy with that. I don't know if the Blazer fans that hate Chet would be okay drafting him at 4. I feel like some people would rather have Keegan Murray, which just drives me crazy. But
I just think he's the type that's, I mean, all of them are going to wow in workouts, I think, but I just think Ivy will just, like, be that guy who's like, oh man, we have to have this guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting there at 4, you just take one of those 4 if you can't find a trade that's, like, absolutely worth doing.
Yeah.
But, like, dude, like, if we end up at 4 and Chet falls, I'll be so happy on that draft stream. Because then it'd also be a situation where people might hate on him less. Because that's the thing. I can see us drafting Chet and people just not even giving him a chance, which will... You think you've seen me rant before? You think you've seen me go crazy on stream before? If we draft Chet and just these dumb Blazer fans don't give him a chance because, I don't know, from some of their own admission, they don't want a white American-born big man, we might have to stop calling this a family-friendly channel. The draft is the draft lottery is in mid-May. The draft is June 23rd, Madden Mobile. Draft lottery May 17th. Draft is June 23rd.
All right, I gotta get going.
All right, I'll catch you later, Eric.
Have a good day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep, we'll be live again tomorrow night with the post-game show. We can talk about more of this type of stuff. Hopefully we beat the Spurs. Thank you to everybody who tuned in for this live stream. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!